Hello, everybody. Ben Fama Jr. here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to make a response to Chase Jarvis, who happened to answer one of my questions that I called into one of his shows on the Daily Creative on his YouTube page. Now, for some of you guys who don't know Chase Jarvis, which first off, I don't know why you wouldn't know who Chase Jarvis is, but he's a world-known famous photographer, entrepreneur. He's the host of, he has an actual website called Creative Live, which I want to talk a little bit about here in just a second, and how important Creative Live has been to me and my career in the creative process. But anyway, so I got to wake up this morning, and usually, you know, every day that I get a chance to, I follow a bunch of people on YouTube, and one of them is definitely Chase Jarvis, and I follow his Daily Creative, and I've been following Chase Jarvis for a very long time. So I decided, you know, I'd call in and ask a question, because most of you guys know I'm a documentary filmmaker. I'm about asking big questions. Sometimes I'm a little bit controversial. Sometimes I say things that may not be popular, but it's all in the interest of self-awareness and better development, of thinking differently, thinking outside the box, and just really trying to grow as an individual and just challenging things. You know, asking questions, I think, is one of the best ways for you to learn. And so I decided that I was going to ask Chase Jarvis on his show a question about, now most of you guys know I'm a documentary filmmaker, but I also have a production company where I do commercial videos. You know, I do commercial and branding and stuff like that. And I've been doing that for about 5 years. And I feel like I'm at a point now, I'm ready to take my business to the next level. And I really was in between trying to figure out, do I really want to maintain the old way of me doing things and me having client work and stuff? Or do I want to move into this new phase where I go full force as a documentary filmmaker? So let me just start off with the question that I asked Chase Jarvis. Now, I'm only going to play the question that I asked him, and not the whole video, because I want you to be able to go out and watch the actual full video on his website. But I'm just going to play the question that I asked, and then I want to get into it for a minute. So this was it.
The show, right? It's like 802-962-4357 if you got questions. Okay, you know. Okay, I'm going to listen. This is a question from a guy called Ben, and I think he doesn't want to have clients. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey Chase, this is Ben from benfamajr.com. I'm a documentary filmmaker. My question is can you make a living as a creative without having clients? I do client work, but I'm more passionate about doing documentary filmmaking. I know that there's some ways to make money using documentary, but I hear that you don't really make a return on your investment. So I do a lot of client work, but it's not where my passion is. So can you make a living without having clients? Thanks.
All right, Ben.
So I'm going to pause this because I want you guys to actually go check out the video on his website, which you can check that out, Chase Jarvis. Just type in Chase Jarvis on YouTube, and you'll be able to find the video, which is actually under You Don't Need Clients. And so let me tell you a little bit about why I brought this up, and I'm really glad what he said, and I really want to respond to a little bit what he said. And first off, why I even asked this question. So I graduated from film school back in 2012, and I knew I was really passionate about doing documentary filmmaking, but I knew when I got out of school that I wasn't going to be, you know, doing documentary filmmaking right out the door. I was going to have a career right coming out the door, that this was going to be a really, really long process. So I thought, in the meantime, as I'm building my film career, I would start a production company on the side where I do client work. And so that's what I did. I decided I would try to work with clients. I worked with many people here and where I live in Arizona, in Sedona, Arizona. I met some really great people doing client work and stuff. And so I thought this would be the way for me to supplement my income as I'm trying to build my actual career as a documentary filmmaker, which was started off as I think was a good idea. But I'm 5 years into it now, and I'm starting to feel like I'm trying to balance between both worlds, which it's still important. I'm not ready to give up clients 100% yet, but what I'm trying to do is really start focusing more on my target market and exactly what it is I'm trying to accomplish with documentary filmmaking. Now, some people know I'm a very controversial documentary filmmaker, and I talk about sometimes uncomfortable subjects. So sometimes it's a little hard to find your niche and find those people that really understand what it is you're trying to do. Having said that, though, as I started to build my business as a person in production, doing client work, I had to really start learning the business side of, you know, not only just how to shoot, how to light, how to, you know, do sound and stuff, but also the business side, you know, doing contracts and you know, hiring people and shooting on location and doing all the things that you got to do to run a business. And one of the first places that I went to really start learning how to build not only my production company, but also my documentary filmmaking career was a place called Creative Live, which is basically the site that Chase Jarvis actually is a part of. In fact, it's a really, if you guys have never checked this out, believe me, this is an integral part of not only helping me develop my career, but I know this helps a lot of creatives. And I always recommend this site to creatives everywhere I go. I've recommended it to my family. I've recommended it to other artists and musicians. And briefly what it is, it's a really great website for creatives. So if you're a filmmaker, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, like I'm not getting paid to say any of this. This is not something that even Chase even knows that I'm doing. I'm just saying it's just something that I've done for a while, and it's been an integral part of my career. And it's not just about creativity. It's also about business. It's about lifestyle. It's about psychology, which was just invaluable information. And if you guys can see some of the classes that I've got, now I've watched a lot of free classes on here, which is great. You can actually just click on one of these things and watch it when it's live. You can actually watch one of the videos, but I've actually ordered a couple classes on here myself. You know, you can see I have shooting documentary short films with Griffin Hammond, Ramet Sethi, Richer Life, you know, marketing your photography business, which also works really well when it comes to your video business. I mean, just really great stuff on this website. So I think it's important to ask questions when you're trying to build your career. And to me, I'm kind of at a crossroads because I'm getting ready to release, most of you guys know I'm getting ready to release a brand new film here in February. It's my first full-length feature. And as I'm trying to work and move towards thinking differently and trying to build an audience, I'm really starting to be a little bit more picky about some of the projects that I really want to work on. And that's the reason why I asked the question is I wanted to move up to the next level. I didn't want to just do regular client work or just be marketing myself like any other production company out there. And I know a lot of people, if you follow like Gary Vaynerchuk and Evan Carmichael and these people out there, you know, a lot of them, they'll tell you, even Chase Jarvis will tell you, you got to find your niche. You got to find your core audience, what makes you different. And that's really what I've been focusing on, is trying to figure out, well, what makes my product different? What makes me different? And this is not something I found out overnight or that I feel like even I know 100% right now. But as I'm working on it, I started to really just have that self-awareness, like Gary Vaynerchuk says. And that's why I decided to ask Chase Jarvis, because I really love his show. I really respect what he does. I'm a big fan of Creative Live. And as you're building your business as an entrepreneur, and definitely when you're in the creative side, you're really having to figure out what makes you tick, what makes you want to get up every day and do what you're doing. And for me, it is documentary filmmaking. And so I'm not ready to give up clients per se, but I think I want to move more into a direction that I value and that people that hire me value in what it is I'm doing. Because it's one thing if I'm just hired to do a commercial for just, you know, Joe or just some regular average person versus somebody that really values what it is I'm trying to do in the niche that I'm trying to do, or trying to add as value to what it is that they're trying to do, right? Like Chase Jarvis gets hired specifically for his vision and what he's actually trying to bring to the table than he's just some other photographer. And that's what you got to try to build your brand and your business. So that's why I asked the question. And I'm really thankful that he took the time to answer, which I'm going to, my wife and I were just watching the video. And we kind of broke it down and said, hey, these are really great insights. Some of it are actually stuff that we knew, so it kind of just confirmed it, which is great. But if you're creative and you're really trying to figure out, well, how do I move from the next level from maybe saying, okay, maybe client work isn't really what I want to do, or maybe there's a certain type of client, I would definitely go check out his video and do that. So again, Chase, thanks so much for answering the question. We really do appreciate it. And like I said, I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm not getting paid to say anything about Creative Live. But if you really want to build your business, if you really want to get better at your creativity and what it is you're doing, believe me, it's such a valuable resource. And I'm a very skeptical person. I don't believe a lot of bullshit. This has been a valuable resource for me. And we'll see in the next 10 years where this goes and how I'll do. But definitely go check him out. And a special thanks to him. So peace out.